This is the first time on my channel that I get to interview an official writer, not someone who just does it in their free time. It's her living. She's a friend of mine. She's amazing. She's Renee Roth of Roth Results. And let's learn some exciting factoids about what it's like to be a writer. Thanks for tuning in, and put your comments below so that she can answer you, all right?
My favorite writing assignment so far is a book that I wrote for a young lady who wanted to tell her life story. And many people come to me and say, "Oh, I want to write a book. It's so fascinating. Everybody's going to want to read about my story." And then I start talking to them, and it's like, "Well, I got bullied on the playground in fourth grade." I'm like, "Really? That's your life story?" Okay, your mom might want to read about that, but this woman convinced me that she really did have a compelling life story. And the reason she wanted to tell her story was because in her mid 30s, her story was still a part of her life, but it no longer controlled her life. She had overcome her past and a lot of the problems that she'd had in her past, and her story was one of faith and resilience. And I enjoyed talking with her, and I met her mother and her brother, and it was a very fascinating story, and indeed something that I felt a lot of people would want to hear about. I have had writer's block oftentimes when I'm working with a client and I'm not really sure about their industry or their product or their service. I'll just get stuck. And then what I found works for me is to break it down a little bit. Okay, start, do a little bit of research, start thinking about it, see what others have written, and then just take it piece by piece rather than I have to write this whole story. Okay, let's just start it. And sometimes I write the ending first and then I go back and work into it. So that's how I overcome writer's block, is just to really break it down and make it manageable bites for me to handle. AI is a fabulous tool. I use it myself. There are some disadvantages, though, as you mentioned, and one of them being the information that you get from AI is not entirely reliable. So AI will dip into its databases, and once you um, start your research in AI, you have to be very careful of what it comes back with in terms of the information that you're going to use. In other words, you have to validate the information yourself and not rely on AI that it is actual, true, factual information. Well, one disadvantage is that it sounds like it was written by AI. All of us have read something and you just think, that doesn't really sound like the way Lily talks or the way I've heard Renee talk in the past. It's an artificial representation of my thoughts and my ideas. And for me, um, using AI to do some research and then building on that with my own background and experience and knowledge, I'm able to create whatever story or article or um, expository article that my client needs. I think really telling people's life stories, and it doesn't always have to be someone who had a real horrible childhood, um, but just telling their story from their perspective and understanding how they came to be who they are today. That's, yeah. If I'm going to get paid to do writing, I would love to get paid to do that. I've done that for a number of people as a voluntary project, and I've enjoyed it greatly. I would say one of the most challenging jobs I've ever had is where the person had a preconceived notion of what they wanted the output to look like. Um, and so I, developed some research, did the writing, did some interviews, produced an end product for the person, and they were just like, no, this isn't what I wanted at all. This isn't, you know. And I was like, well, this is what you asked me for, and this is how I developed it. And I'm never going to tell the customer they're wrong, or that, they told me something they didn't tell me. But um, if you have a very specific idea of what you want to see as the output, then let's collaborate on that. Instead of me doing the whole project for you, let's collaborate through a series of interviews, maybe, or if you have some written documentation that you'd like to incorporate, let's use that. And then it becomes the project that you envisioned as well as the project that I perceived that you wanted me to do.
Where do you do your best writing?
Yeah, and that's, I set my computer up there. Really, a lot of ideas, though, come to me in the middle of the night. So I'll wake up, or I'll stay awake if I can't sleep, and I'll just be thinking about things. And I find that those ideas are often more creative than the ones that I think of during the day when I'm sitting down saying, okay, I'm going to write something now,
Yeah.
start typing, um, versus just picking up whatever my brain is working on in the background.
What do you do to totally decompress?
Um, to decompress, I would say I try and just go for a walk, or just get away from the computer. I'm on my computer all day, all the time, whether it's personal stuff, work things, checking emails. I do a lot of volunteer work. There are a couple of organizations that I volunteer with. So I'm looking at those emails. I'm doing projects for them. I'm thinking about doing, what am I going to do next? So just really getting away from the computer for me is the best way to do that, because then I'm not, oh, I'll just check one more email. Oh, I'll just, you know, finish this paragraph or whatever. So I have to like physically get it out of my space. If someone was shocked to see me doing something, um, it would probably be shopping, because I hate shopping. And a lot of my friends know that. So if someone saw me shopping, they would be shocked. um, that said, I mean, I do occasionally I love going to the grocery store. I spend an inordinate amount of time in grocery stores.
Yeah.
I just find it fascinating. And but other than that, like going to the mall or buying clothes or something like that is just, I can't stand it. The grocery store fascinates me because, number one, I love to eat, and I really love to cook. I cook all the time for myself and for other people. Um, and I mean from scratch. So finding the ingredients, finding the right ingredients. I have over 100 cookbooks, but I rarely follow a recipe. I use them, well, you ask me what I do to get away. Sometimes I'll just sit down and read a couple of cookbooks, which is a little more interesting than reading the phone book, but it's um, it's relaxation for me, and thinking about planning a menu, or what kind of food to make, um, is just fascinating. So I love to, you know, create a menu, make a ingredient list, go shopping, find just the right thing to put into whatever meal I'm making.
Well, lastly, what would you not enjoy writing about?
I would not enjoy writing um, mostly fiction. I would not enjoy writing um, mostly fiction. I love reading fiction, but someone sent me a manuscript for a sci fi fiction novel, and I started reading it, and it was fascinating. But I just thought, I'm not going to be a good editor for this book. Number one, because I was so fascinated reading it, I wasn't thinking about editing. But also, I don't know enough about the genre except as a consumer of it versus a writer of it. So I wish I was better at that because I'm fascinated by sci-fi. But I just know that I wouldn't be good either writing a sci-fi novel or even editing one. Conspiracy theories. I did have a client once that wanted me to write a newsletter and had sent me some of the articles that they were thinking about writing in the newsletter, and it was half of it was conspiracy theories, and I just thought, you know, I'm probably not going to do this justice for you. So I had to decline that job.
As I knew it, Renee is fascinating. And next time, maybe I'll have her do my grocery shopping as well as my menu planning, because that's not something I excel at. Oh my God. But take a look at her on Roth Results on LinkedIn under Renee Roth. Unbelievable. Thank you, Renee, and thank you all for tuning in. Let's see if you'll be the next one I interview. See you soon.